What's up, Soulful Leader? If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, my name is Maura Barclay. I'm a transformational leadership consultant and a neurofacilitation practitioner. And I work primarily with transformational coaches, helping them fill their programs effortlessly without selling, pushing, or convincing. I wanted to talk to you today about a wonderful story that I heard from A Course in Miracles. The author lived briefly on a organic farming community. And this community had a resident duck named Phil. And Phil was very verbal, did a lot of quacking at people. And one night, on the way to the dinner hall, the author had the opportunity to witness a handful of conversations that happened. One of the residents, who was a singer-songwriter, was walking to the dinner hall, and Phil, the duck, naturally quacking away at her. And she regarded him and said, "Thank you for singing a song to me. I love your song, Phil. I appreciate you sharing it." And she carried on. The second resident that came by was a larger woman. And as Phil started quacking away at her, she said, "You're always hungry. Why are you always begging for food? Enough is enough, Phil." And she kept walking. And the third resident was a man who I believe was an architect or something like that, something very left-brained. And as he approached Phil and Phil started quacking at him, he said, "Questions, always asking questions, Phil. Enough with the questions. When you're going to have an answer for once." This struck me as one of the most clear and powerful examples of what projection is. I think it was Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, that said, "Nothing anybody does has anything to do with you." And never has there been an example more clear than Phil the duck. Because clearly, Phil the duck does not have the ability to have an agenda as complex as the residents portrayed. Phil was just being Phil. Probably a male duck saying, "Stop walking by my territory," if I had to guess. Every resident projected their inner dialogue onto this duck. This is what we do every day and what people do at us every day. So as you become more conscious, you will be able to witness how your inner narrative is coloring your meaning making around interactions. The question is, once you come into awareness of your own projections, how is that going to help you? How is it going to help you create a more abundant life? How is it going to help you deliberately create the future and the freedom that you want? Here's how. Typically, a projection is associated with a trigger. Some emotional trigger has brought up this story, this narrative that you are then projecting onto the recipient of it. A trigger, let's go a level deeper, is a treasure map to your freedom. Because the energy that is fueling that trigger, the emotional energy that is blocked, trapped, old, needs to go, that's what's creating the trigger. So if you can see when you start projecting and you recognize, oh, I'm projecting because of this trigger, and then you can recognize, oh, I have a trigger here. I have some emotional energy that needs to be released and let go. That is the path to freedom. When you are no longer triggered by your environment, you are free. You are living an unconditional life, as Abraham Hicks would say. So pay attention to your projections. Forgive yourself immediately. They are a natural outcropping of triggers, which are your pathway to creating a deliberate future where you are free, free to do and create anything you want.